Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, disowned daughter passed away from stress. Mother won't allow me to be independent. Quit on babysitter because of fight and being ripped off. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Disowned daughter passed away from stress. So my mother has been and continues to make my life less than enjoyable. One particular thing I want to get off my chest is what happened when I was 12. I have had twin sisters who were 15 at the time. Their names are Sarah and Bess. Our mom left our dad to be with a total DC. This man would buy food and put his name on it so we couldn't eat it. He grabbed me by my neck for walking out of the kitchen with food in my mouth. Called us horrible names. All the whole time my mom knew, obviously. We were never allowed to tell our father what was happening. Our mom would tell us, "What happens in my house stays in my house, your dad doesn't need to know and you better not tell him." One night, Bess had enough of DIC and called our dad. My mom listened in on another phone. Back in the good old 90s, after she heard Bess confiding in our dad about what was going on, my mom was furious. She told Bess she was no longer her daughter. Told her the sight of her face made her sick. Banished her to her room completely besides using the toilet. This went on for about 1 to 2 weeks. Well, all the stress from everything triggered a heart condition we did not know Bess had to flare up, and she actually went into cardiac arrest one morning and died. Dead at 15. My mom will never admit to the past. Has never made things right. Acts as if it never happened. I recently went in see with her. If you read another of my posts you'll see why. I have never healed from this. OMG, why didn't your dad come get you too from that situation after finding out? I hope you're safe now. My dad was in the military and honestly, he was not the best dad either. Not abusive, but didn't want to deal with us. Dad might not have been able to. Family courts are still heavily biased to the mother, and I say this knowing that the last 20 to 30 years have seen progress in this regard. If dad tries to get the kids away from the mom, he gets hit with custodial interference and loses what custody rights he has. I am so sorry. For Bess, for you, for Sarah. That woman may be a mother, but she is not a mom. I hope that you and Sarah have found truer families and better places to be. I think out of the two of us, my sister and I'm the only one that has made it to the other side. As in, still came out a good person. Those type of PPL aren't human being for me. Just incubator with a malicious brain. I am a twin, and I'm just thinking about losing your twin. That feels like it'd be horrible, and it probably is. I do think it really messed my sister up. She will stay in any relationship just so it doesn't have to end. I'm an identical twin, and I still live with her. Losing her would be devastating, and once the dogs I had passed away, I think I would too. But I'm 56. I would remind her every day of what she did. I am so sorry. OP, things like this should never happen to kids. My mom was like yours in some ways. I often heard, "What happens here is our business, no one else needs to know." She'd grab my neck sometimes to make sure I was listening to her. She would yell at me so long and so often that I could hear her yelling even when she wasn't around. I was always anxious about keeping her secrets that I became a nervous wreck whenever I was away from home. It took me a long while to figure out a way to deal with the anxiety and all the things I felt. I am proud of you for going no contact. You've come out of this war like a queen. Go forth and rule life, you warrior queen. Forever may you reign. Thank you for your reply. Yes, we can heal and become better people. I know I'm a way better mother because of what I went through. You can live with a broken heart, and you can die with one, but it's terrible to have to do both. Quote from an estranged parent. Mother won't allow me to be independent. My mother won't let me be independent. I have absolutely no idea how to cook, clean, wash dishes, do laundry, or really do any basic life skills. I am not even allowed to order for myself at restaurants. For money, I don't have my own account. She owns an account for me. I can't make deposits, withdrawals, and she gets a notification every time I spend anything. She shames me for buying anything. I'm not even allowed to use an ATM because why do you need money? My mail is controlled by her. She opens all of my mail and/or hides it. This includes important things such as letters from school that contain information on college and scholarships. This is a huge problem because I am almost 18. I'm going to be attending college soon and be living apart from her. She claims I don't need to know any of the skills listed above because I have her. I'm expected to live at home and take care of her until she dies. As soon as you are 18, open a bank account in a different bank and transfer your money there. Get a P.O. box so she doesn't get your mail. As far as cooking, cleaning, and life skills, watch YouTube for learning things. I hope you are going away for college and get into a dorm. She is doing this so you can't be independent from her. It also sounds like she has made you her retirement plan. This is such all-consuming control, it's giving me a headache. This is not normal motherly behavior in the slightest, and I cringe at the reaction from her when you finally peel yourself away from her side. If you know where she keeps your important documents, birth certificate, social security card, etc., better hide them away now because I guarantee she will give you hell when it comes time for anything college related. How are you gonna apply for things when she hides your mail? Do everything that's mentioned above. Move into a dorm and tell the school never to release any paperwork to your mother. She may even retaliate by ruining your credit rating. So look out for that as well. Good grief, move your money to an account that only you have access to and then get a P.O. box in your name and don't mention them to anyone. Once you're 18, don't let yourself be guilted into revealing information. How are you going to take care of her with no skills? The minute you turn 18, get a job and open your own account. If your school has a guidance counselor, talk to them for job leads. Also, anything to do with scholarships/college, talk to your fiancé counselor about. Or someone else in faculty you trust. Talk to them as well about not having access to your mail. They may be willing to have things to do with schooling for you directed in their care to the school's address. Never hurts to ask for help. The worst they can do is say it's not possible. I've read a couple of times about a YouTube channel that features a man teaching people how to do things who didn't have a father. I think it's called something like Dad, How Do I Not? Not sure, it's been a while since I read about it. I have no doubt that there is some channel, some social media outlet that will have videos or step-by-step to do all the things you need to learn how to do. Good luck, honey. Absolutely. This guy is also on IG. He's posted things about mechanics, gardening, plumbing, finances, and more. He's a great resource. I'm expected to live at home and take care of her until she dies. Psych. That's going to be a hard pass on taking care of Smother Mother until her hatefulness eats her alive. Isn't tampering with someone else's mail a felony? In the US, it is. There may be exceptions for parents of minors, but once you're 18, until you can move away, do get a P.O. box, or if you can't afford it or they aren't available, I've heard of places where people can't get boxes, contact the local postal inspector and find out what you need to do about your mother interfering with your mail. Quit on babysitter because of fight and being ripped off. Another update, after a lot of thinking and discussing things with the most decent people I know who I trust to be brutally honest with me and have shown to be right consistently, I'm going to contact the grandfather. I found out the mother is hiding a lot from him and he's already suspicious about the kid situation, and that's why he popped up unexpectedly from the home state. I found someone in the neighborhood who knows her and where he is. Edit. Scratch all the below. I'm not playing a pity party, but I grew up in conditions that were far worse than these, and I got tortured and starved and didn't go to school past 8th grade. She isn't violent and he is fed at home, so it didn't click with me how detrimental his surroundings were because of my experiences. I just generally knew they were bad and she was selfish. My family generally just saw her as a nuisance and nobody seemed concerned, and that rubbed off on me. After seeing everyone's severe reaction, it's got me thinking this is more than just bad parenting. I really do care about him, and I thought foster care was going to hurt him worse. But I am going to call someone. I am very scared to do so, but I want to. What do I do? Can someone tell me some good things that have happened in foster care? I, 27, babysat a woman, 39, in my neighborhood's kid for 3 months, including overnight, and collectively made $200 after everything after agreeing to $100 a week. She brought him over an hour to 2 hours early every day and would be an hour to 3 hours late, and tried to start a fight with me when I told her to compensate me for the extra 2 to 5 extra hours of work, and she told me that she shouldn't have to because, I hitchhike to work. Turns out she actually had a ride most of the time and was leaving early to smoke meth. I also found out she was giving her 3-year-old son coffee before bringing him to me so he'd crash by the time she got him, and would give him things to make him, horrifically, shit himself at my house so he'd be cleaned out when she had him. He could speak a total of one word, which was no, because at home she kept him in a single room with a phone unsupervised and tried to convince me it was my job to teach him how to speak. I had to teach him literally every ounce of discipline a kid should know, such as not to play with hedge clippers or run full speed into traffic, which she took credit for. She consistently forgot to bring him food or drinks and then admitted she wanted me to supply that because daycares do it. My family did Easter around him and we cooked for her and got him gifts, candy and his own Easter egg hunt, and we bought him a pool and I picked rose petals to put in his water, and she complained about both. I canceled on her once because my sibling was mentioning suicide not long after an actual attempt, and her only response was, "Well, because of you, I now have to call out of work," and I tore into her ass over that. But me quitting on her happened after she 1. Blamed me for ruining her son's birthday because I had an emergency and had to leave. 2. Forgot his food and then flipped out at me when I got mad about it, and then tried to ask other people to watch him, who live with me, because she didn't trust that I wouldn't hurt her son, which hurt because I love kids. They said no because she's so shady and moved from another state to date some guy in prison and is living in a shack with no AC with that kid. So a month later she calls me begging me to babysit again this week, and I said no because it's me and my fiance's 6-year anniversary, and I hung up and blocked her number. Honestly, someone needs to take her kid away from her, though her delusional ass will swear up and down she knows how to raise kids. I would have called CPS very early on in your story, even more so by the end. Because my family that was in foster care was abused much more severely, and calling CPS isn't an easy solution, it's an easy suggestion. I'm trying to get her dad, who was normal, to come get him. Why did you not call CPS? Because my family that was in foster care got tied to trees and beaten with extension cords. I'm trying to get her dad, who was normal, involved. If you can't contact the right people to protect an abused child you are in charge of, you need to find a different job. You failed this child at every turn. I'm not going to lie, your comment raised my blood pressure at first because deep down it made me very sad, which turned into anger, but I really do love the kid, and everyone saying it is this dire is really making me think this is not normal petty drama like I had been raised into believing. I understand why you're angry, and while I thought I was doing the right thing, I made a mistake regardless, and a kid is at risk now. So thank you for being very blunt with me. This story made me feel grateful for my upbringing. Me too, when I was a refugee whose parents got our family out of a genocide, but even through all that, I still had parents that put me first. Your family had a bad experience with CPS, I get that, but you're letting a 3-year-old grow up in horrendous circumstances by not involving them. Not every foster carer is bad, most are fine if not great. Plus they can contact the father, who doesn't sound that great if he hasn't bothered to come get his abused non-verbal son from his junkie ex. I didn't know, and literally none of that dawned on me. But I am really thinking about what y'all are saying. First Worst of all, she had you babysitting her kid for free, essentially. If you have a few bucks to spare, sue her for the money she owes you. It's unlikely you would get a penny of it, but the documentation may help the dad get custody. She sounds very abusive both towards her child and towards you. You definitely should call CPS. Maybe they can force her to take parenting classes or something. And foster care is not all bad. You hear about the bad situations, like your family members, but you don't hear about the good situations. For my son's childhood friend, getting put in foster care was like hitting the lottery. Best thing that ever happened to him. He's still with the family at 25. As much as I hate CPS, given the people my dad had to deal with over my brother and myself when we were kids clearly hated men and automatically backed my mom, they should have been called. Foster care is so violent so often, I was very worried he'd just wind up somewhere even worse. My family that was in foster care was abused much more severely. I'm trying to get her dad involved, because he is stable. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.